If you are house hunting in Mississauga right now, or you're getting ready to, this video might literally save you from one of the most expensive mistakes of your life, and I say that with love. I've helped over hundreds of families buy and sell in the GTA, and the same three mistakes that I see them come up again and again, and it's because nobody tells you these things up front. The listing description won't have it, the websites won't tell you, and sometimes, honestly, the agent won't tell you either. So today I'm telling you 3 mistakes, real stories, and exactly what to do instead. And before we get into it, if you haven't already grabbed my free Mississauga relocation guide, the link is right below this video. It covers all of our core communities in detail, the school catchments, neighborhood vibe, all of it. My clients, they use it before their very first showing. So go get it, okay? Let's go. Mistake number 1, and this one stings the most when families find out too late, assuming that school catchments are set in stone and that just because you love a street, your kids are automatically going to the school that you want. And here's the reality in Mississauga. School boundaries don't just stop at major roads. They cut right through the middle of a block, literally house by house. I have seen it happen so many times where a family falls in love with the home, they're convinced that they're zoned for a specific school, and they're not. They're one street off, sometimes just even 50 feet off. I had a client, lovely family, school-age children, looking right here in Central Erin Mills. We found them a great home, and they were absolutely sure that it was in the John Fraser Secondary catchment. That was a non-negotiable for them. So we did a proper deep dive into the school board data, and we found that the house was outside the zone by about 50 feet. Good thing we caught it before they made an offer. So that was really close. And here's why this matters beyond just the school itself. In Mississauga, being inside a high-demand school catchment is a massive driver of your property's value and future equity. If you miss it by half a block, you're not just missing the school, you're potentially leaving future resale value on the table. So this is something we go through carefully with every single client before we ever start booking showings. Because catching it after you've fallen in love with the house is a completely different conversation. So mistake number 2, and this one is a big one for anyone moving out from Toronto or for hybrid workers, which right now is pretty much everybody. And that is assuming that all GO train service is created equal. It is not. If you're coming from Toronto, you're used to the subway showing up every 5 minutes. You just hop on, you hop off. You don't need to plan it. But out here in Mississauga, transit is a strategy. It changes depending on which part of the city that you live in. Now here's the part most people don't know. If you're buying in Lisgar or Streetsville, you're going to be on the Milton line. And the Milton line runs in the peak direction only. That means that it's designed for the traditional 9-to-5 commuter going into Union Station in the morning and coming back in the evening. The tracks are shared with freight rail, so off-peak service is extremely limited. If you're a hybrid worker who needs to head downtown at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, you may find yourself on a bus and not on a GO train. And I was doing that for about 10 years in my earlier career. I either took the bus at off-peak times or I had to drive out to Port Credit. So if you look down here, Port Credit and Clarkson. So if you're buying your home closer to Port Credit or Clarkson, you're on the Lakeshore West line, which runs all day, both directions, and with much more consistent frequency. That flexibility is a completely different lifestyle. I'm not saying that one area is better than the other. They're both excellent and wonderful, but your commute pattern has to match where you buy your home. If you work hybrid, if your schedule is flexible, and you may need to commute during off-peak hours, you may want to buy closer to the Lakeshore West line. Because once you're in that house, that's going to be your commute. Mistake number 3, this one is really important and most agents don't know or don't talk about it. And this is a financial risk that so many buyers are taking on without even realizing it. So counting on rental income from a basement apartment that isn't actually registered with the city of Mississauga. And I want to tell you about something that just literally happened a few days ago with my own clients, because I think this story says it all. They're first-time home buyers, beautiful, amazing couple. Their budget was $850 to $950, looking for a semi-detached in Mississauga with a basement suite to help offset the mortgage. Very reasonable, excellent strategy. And about 2 months, we were looking at quite a few homes together. And then here's what we found and we kept running into. A lot of these basement suites, they're just not very well built. Maybe not enough windows, barely get any natural light, awkward layouts where you're bumping into walls, a kitchen the size of a closet. We literally had to walk over a bed in the middle of a hallway once. And some of them would need a serious amount of work just to be livable, let alone to pass a city inspection and actually become legal status. So that idea of the basement will pay the mortgage starts to look very different when you're actually standing in it. So now my clients were open to going through the city's permit process to legalize a suite, which honestly I fully respect because that's the right way to do it. It's not a mandatory requirement yet in Mississauga as we see in other cities. But because my clients really want a legal basement suite, I sat down with them and I said, hey, let's change our strategy. Instead of looking for homes with just a finished basement, let's focus our search on homes that actually have a legal basement apartment. Here's the thing though, and this is what many buyers don't realize. When you narrow it down to homes in Mississauga with a legal registered basement suite, you're looking at probably like less than a dozen active listings at any given time. It's a very short list of homes. So check this out. There are less than 5,000 homes registered in the city of Mississauga. So we had to be very strategic and very patient and ready to move quickly when the right home came up. You see here, the city of Mississauga has a public second units registry list website that you can look up online yourself. And your agent should be able to check this for you as well before you ever make an offer of purchase. You see all the addresses are here. And with my clients, we got really lucky. We found the perfect one. A beautiful semi-detached in East Credit, steps from Heartland Town Center, premium location, great square footage, a legal one-bedroom basement suite. And we were so fortunate. The house has been on the market for about 2 months, and we ended up being the only buyer putting in an offer after a previous one fell through. So we got to negotiate a great price, and my clients were super thrilled. It was genuinely one of those moments that we were so happy, and it reminds me why I love my work. So here's what I want you to take away from this story. It's okay to buy a home with the basement in-law suite, and you can register it yourself if it's not already in the registry. There is no fee to register with the city, but the unit must meet Ontario Building and Fire Code standards. So once it is approved, the unit is added to the City of Mississauga Second Units Registry. And right now, the city probably estimates that there could be somewhere between 5,000 and 8,000 unregistered second units in Mississauga right now. So there are a lot of people collecting rent on basement suites that are not technically registered. And if you get one neighbor complaint or a phone call to 311, that $2,000 a month income that you're counting on can disappear overnight. And if your mortgage math was built around that rental income, that is a potential problem for you. So the good news is registration with the city is actually free. The cost is in doing any renovations needed to bring the unit up to code. It's really quite simple. So whether you want an already legal suite or you're okay with doing the renovation yourself and apply for the city permit, that's okay. Just know exactly what you're walking into before making an offer to purchase. And that's very important. And so there you have it, the school boundary blind spot, the GO train trap, and the basement status reality check. These are the 3 mistakes that I see constantly and 3 things that you can absolutely avoid when you plan with the right strategy going in. You know, whether this is your first move or your third, a real estate purchase in Mississauga should really feel like clarity and not like you're finding out the hard way 6 months later, after closing. My job is to make sure that you know all of this before you fall in love with the house. So because when you're informed, you move with more confidence. And that's what I want for every single family that I work with. Go grab the relocation guide in the link below if this is your starting point. And if you're ready to talk about your specific situation, reach out anytime. My number and my email are right there in the description. I'd love to connect and have a conversation. Thanks so much for being here today, and I'll see you on the next video.